A being lost overview. Most people these days have very little tolerance for being uncomfortable. Therefore today many so-called outdoor survival situations are often nothing more than uncomfortable situations, usually for a short period of time before being found and rescued. The main focus in a real survival situation is simply to do one of two things, and that is get yourself back to civilization or stay put and hope to be rescued. The standard rule is to stay where you are, if lost, but if everybody did that the search and rescue would be much busier. As anybody who has spent any amount of time in the outdoors has been temporarily lost at some time, so you have to evaluate your prospects for a safe return and consider how much harder it would be for the search and rescue to find you if you're unsuccessful. Modern-day communication systems, including a cell phone, can often speed up your rescue. When lost in the outdoors, the first thing you need to do is control your emotions. Do not try to physically or mentally run away from the situation. Recognize fear for what it is and accept it. There are 3 common reactions you want to avoid. 1 is panic, which usually triggers the flight response in humans. Moving wildly around, even for a few minutes, will use up valuable energy, plus could get you irretrievably lost or possibly injured. The second reaction is overcompensation, deciding that it's time to build a fancy shelter, forage for food, and get a cord of wood before nightfall. You need to conserve energy. The third reaction is denial. Don't deny that you're lost and the situation is uncomfortable. Remember, the first rule for coping with problems is that if you're in a hole, stop digging. Be calm, sit down and think things through. Try to improve an uncomfortable situation and plan your own self-recovery if possible. If you're not injured, self-recovery usually means finding the trail you lost, as straight-line travel in British Columbia is usually not desirable. If you decide to move, leading your direction of travel is very important. Being lost doesn't kill people, it's not being prepared for the possibility of being lost that does. The fact is that people forced to spend an unscheduled night in the outdoors can save themselves if they're not injured or have medical problems, even without much wilderness experience, no matter how bad the weather is, if they have even the minimal essentials for survival, mainly something to keep them dry and something to start a fire with. Your brain is by far the most important survival tool. Exposure and hypothermia are the #1 killers of people lost in the BC wilderness. Hypothermia can occur at temperatures as high as 50 degrees Fahrenheit, especially if you're damp or wet. Wind chill is also a major cause of hypothermia, even at moderate temperatures. The best strategy against the elements is to wear the gear that will protect you in the severest of conditions and allow for a few hours of rest or sleep if necessary. The goal of clothing should be total self-sufficiency against the elements. There are many myths pertaining to survival that are particularly dangerous because people assume they are reliable techniques for emergency situations without trying them out firsthand. Remember, your survival instincts are formed from correct choices based on knowledge. There's no such thing as an uneducated instinct to do the right thing.
It's alright, it's okay, doesn't really matter if you're old and gray. It's alright, I say it's okay.